Welcome back. As I mentioned prior to our commercial break, the next conversation is all about preparing resilient and change-ready organizations. That being said, we have been joined in studio this morning by Yorshabel Katous. She's the Manager, Member Relations at the BCCI. Good morning, Yorshabel.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
All right, she's been joined by Norman Grant. He's a systematic team coach of Star Cluster Advisory out of Canada. Good morning, Mr. Grant.
Good morning, everyone.
So we're talking about getting businesses change ready and resilient should there be any kinds of shocks or anything that happens that they're not prepared for, right? Let's put that into some context in terms of where Belize lies and the businesses that would need this kind of training.
Yes. So, as you know, Chamber represent employers, and so we are big on doing trainings. That's one of the core things that we do, because it's so important for the business owner and the employees to invest in themselves. Because once you invest in yourself as a business owner, you're on top of the game, and as a leader, you're supposed to be strategic in looking at direction and how to navigate. And then the employees, of course, you want to invest in their skills and knowledge so that they can help. I mean, they're the ones who run the operations, they're the ones who make a brand for you. So we look at of course, we have a full training calendar in the year, but of course, it's not just to add another activity. For us, it's very important for employers and employees to take advantage. And we try to add value to that. So this is a new training that we're doing this year with Mr. Grant, and he will go in details as to the content of it. But of course, the topic is so much important, resilient and change. The environment that we operate, whether you're an importer, exporter, regular micro business, the terms change rapidly. I mean, it could be natural disasters, it could be change in management, it could be your buyer change. I mean, right now, I think several businesses have started to adjust to the changes that are happening in America. So how is it you readily adapt?
Yeah. Well, let's get Mr. Grant in on the conversation, because how do you readily adapt?
Yes. Thanks very much for this opportunity. And I'd like to say that I was born in Belize, and although I lived abroad for many years, mostly in Asia Pacific region, Canada and Japan, Belize has always been my home. So I'm glad to be back here.
Welcome back.
Nowadays, companies are living with a lot of uncertainty around them, and it's very important that to understand how to approach certain changes, such as changes in tourism and climate changes, technology disruptions and all of that. We need to be prepared for them. And these changes affect not only systems, but they also affect people. And this is where I come in. I focus on helping leaders and teams stabilize people first, and then build shared understanding before they begin to fix systems. When people are steady, then you can then do anything after that. That's what this workshop is all about this week at the Chamber.
In your line of work and all of the years of your experience, what has been one of the more challenging ways to operate within a particular business or an organization to get not just employees but also employers to really understand the training and to ensure that it has staying power and impact after you're done?
I think company leaders don't really understand people and the diversity of the people that they have. In Canada, there's a lot of diversity, and similar to Belize, but I think company leaders don't know how to use that to their maximum. You know, we look at people today, and we cannot. One approach does not fit all, and the big thing now is psychological safety. People need to be able to come to work and be free to, give their opinions without feeling that they will be judged. You know, but I think companies understand that something has to be done, because they're trying to do business in a very difficult and competitive world, and they need the best brains, the best ideas to come forward so that they can challenge this and move forward successfully.
How do you mine and cultivate the best talent within your business?
I think it begins with how you bring people on board. The interview system, I think, is built with a lot of emotion. You know, if we seem to like the same sport, oh, you'll be a good match for this company. But really, we need to ask people about their lived experiences. I think lived experiences can help us to understand a person and to understand how they will act in the company. Nowadays, we have to be very careful, I mean, to get the right people. But we want the right results. We want the best results. So.
I think that as the world is getting smaller when it comes to business, I think for Belize we're exporting a little bit more now than we used to, and how do we then keep up and ensure that there is a particular standard within your company to ensure that you're able to operate in a manner that is a par with the rest of the global economy?
I think one of the biggest challenges nowadays is that people come from different backgrounds and they come from different backgrounds and they're trying to work together for the company. And it's so important, again, psychological safety in a team. For example, I work mostly with teams trying to be successful across cultural borders. And when I talk about cultural borders, I'm not talking about communities or countries' culture. I'm talking about individual culture.
Yeah.
Because each one of us is so different. And we come to this team and we're trying to work together. There's a lot of misunderstanding caused by cultural differences. But people don't have a chance to be able to talk about this and to get past it. That's what I try to help.
Because some people are rigid and inflexible.
Exactly.
Others can work up a compromise. So if we're coming from different backgrounds in terms of the way we look at our professional lives and what have you, we have to be able to meet each other at some point halfway at least, right?
And what's interesting, we need all these different people to get the widest range of ideas.
And what I like is that going back why it's so important for businesses to invest in trainings, because if you're not open to ideas and you're locked in, then you're not exposed to how to advance to meet up to the standards out there, like you were talking about exporting. If you're not on the wagon, you're not gonna be out there. You might just shut doors. So you have to be open for exposure, for trainings, for networking, for sharing ideas. And recently, like last month, we had a training on export marketing done by Mar Sharps. And what I liked about this is that he shared his experiences with fellow members at no charge. So we have to, that's what our trainings offer. So the trainings is not usually just a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of engagement, sharing, talking to each other.
Yeah, I think that we're slowly starting to realize that there is investment in training for yourselves and professional development and so forth. But given everything that we just discussed about cultural differences and trying to understand individual backgrounds and livelihoods, how then do you gather a group of people together and train them on resilience and change in their organization?
Well, we need to start someplace, and we have to start with people. You know, people dynamics is so important. I mean, you cannot do anything if that is not set in the right way. And it all begins with a discussion about, if we were a team, we would sit down and we would talk about, tell me about you, tell me about yourself. What are your lived experiences, you know? most companies, most teams begin the first day by saying, okay, you will do this and you will do that, and they begin to do all the individual tasks. But I truly believe that the first day, teams should sit down and talk about themselves. How are we going to get on together?
That is interesting because you're right. Many employers expect that the employees that they're onboarding should hit the ground running from day one.
Like robotics.
So they're not given an opportunity or a space
Yes.
to actually get to know who they're working with and the various capacities in which they're working. They don't get an opportunity to be able to share themselves with others so that their colleagues could learn, okay, this person is coming from this background with this wealth of knowledge, and this is what would be contributed to the overall purpose of the business.
Yeah.
So important. Most, most companies, I truly think that many people come to work and give about 75% of themselves. But companies nowadays, because of the global trading difficulties, etc., they need a 1,000 percentage of what people can offer. And the only way you can do that is to make people come to an environment in which they feel they belong to,
Yeah.
inclusive.
But how do you do that with smaller businesses? So one of the things that BCCI does, your members, consist of like mom and pop shops, small businesses and so forth, where perhaps it's just one person or two persons that are upkeeping this business, and if a natural disaster comes and wipes out something from them that they would need, a resource that they would need, how do they bounce back from something like that?
One idea I have for this is for people in the same industry to get together and to share their experiences. And that's one of the things I'm going to be using in this training coming up on Friday, is for people in the similar industries to get together and to talk. I'm sure there's a lot that they can learn from each other.
That's interesting, Mr. Grant, because I'm thinking to myself that people in the same industry view each other as competition. Before they say, hey, let's share experiences, let's share what we've learned and what we expect to be doing in the future with each.
It's most definitely.
Man, I think twice.
But the thing is, do you have a choice? Do people have a choice? I mean, if they want to move. I mean, we have associations, right?
Yeah.
Different industrial associations. So people are connected through these systems, but we need to go further than before and to sit down and to talk about what are you grappling with? Where let's exchange our ideas and see if we can help each other.
But I think and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're still very much in a crab in a bucket society where we can't do that quite right yet. I've seen certain businesses like Kaj do trainings and teach other women how to do jewelry, and we have women's associations that also train their young girls to perhaps, uplift themselves to have a business and so forth. But to say that we've seen collectively different organizations or different companies that are producing the same type of resource or same type of material come together and say, let's exchange ideas, I have not seen that.
Well, that's why I brought up that, and as Mr. Grant mentioned, when you're part of an association, that's the role an association takes on. Once you become a member, like member of the chamber, it's not for what's in it for me, it's what's in it for all of us, because we're all businesses. And even though, like in our membership, we have all the financial institutions, and they are all running for the same same purpose, right? But we can all sit in a room and discuss, and it does happen. We can, of course, we're not at that level we expect, but we're going to reach there, because in this new world, that's the way to go, to actually share. And so that's why I mentioned about the prior training that we had, whereby you have one of the biggest exporter in the country, Mary Sharps, who shows up and show you and tell you their secret in how they got out at no charge. So that's what members do to support each other. Should be.
I'm also thinking of the idea of best practices, right? Perhaps it creates an opportunity for us to, even though we're competitors, we could come together and formulate what we believe would be something that could be standardized across the industry as best practices.
No, I think that's very right. I mean, we need to understand the boundaries of where we can interact with other people and what we need to keep, you know, I guess the family jewels, if you want to call it. But at some point, we need to get together and to exchange ideas. I mean, there's so much people can learn from each other. Sometimes they're facing the same situations, but if they were to really get across to someone else in the same industry, they might be able to solve it together.
That's true. So this training is happening on Friday, and I think that one of the, I don't know if it's, I don't want to call it a challenge, but for many of us, investing in a training often comes to be difficult. So there is a fee to come to this training, but maybe share with us what they would be getting for the price. So I know there's one for the BCCI membership, and then there's for the non-membership.
Yeah, so as a member, you always get a discounted rate, and Mr. Grant is working with us. Of course, usually when you bring in a foreign person, it's more expensive because you have all those additional layers of logistics to plan.
Yes.
But he wanted to do it, so it's a little bit reasonable than what we usually offer for international, almost half the price, and it's half day. So we're working just to try out the field, and it's half day. It will be at the Galen University branch right here next to healthcare, or at the BIM building.
The BIM building.
Yeah, they have a conference room there, and we're gonna use that. And it's half day, 8:30 until 12. And of course, there are breaks. You get to network, and we have some snacks. You get a certificate at the end, but it's more than a presentation. It's actually a more engagement discussion. And this is it should be an investment in yourself and in the business. If you want to stay on the top, you should invest in yourself and in your people. So the people that are coming to this training are like CEOs, directors. It's more at the managerial level. So we do offer different types of trainings for different groups, but this one is more at that levels.
So you've had the opportunity of living away for so many years, as you've mentioned, both in the Asia Pacific as well in Canada. So I would think that you have an outside perspective as to what's taking place in Belize with our business community and our economic environment. Would you care to share your observations?
I guess, I can't say I'm so much in touch with it. I have a basic idea of what's going on. Also, I lived in Japan for over 20 years, and we faced earthquakes every week. So it wasn't a matter of panicking, but it was a matter of having systems in place and being prepared. And I very much understand the sudden shifts in weather and tourism and such that can affect Belizean industry and economy. And I hope that I can help in some ways. I'm trying to return something to Belize. But my sense of what's happening here, this trip, and again, I don't know much, what's happening recently, but I get the sense that things are moving in Belize. It seems to be many new buildings, and so I have a lot of positive faith in Belize, and I'd like to help it move on as well.
I think for us, we're growing at a very rapid rate. I think we've gotten up to speed with some of our technology. We've gotten up to speed with some of the ways that we do exporting and importing, but most of our businesses are small businesses and MSMEs. So to get them from that to perhaps a larger corporation might be the next step.
Well, we have about almost 45% like micros, almost 85, MSMEs, medium, micro, and small businesses. But I think for any business, you know, you don't forever 20 years stay as a micro. You graduate.
Yeah.
And so mingling and networking with other businesses who have done it can share that experience on how you can move from one to the next. And that's the kind of opportunity and platform that we provide to businesses. And so I just want to encourage, if you've not signed up for this training and this is something that you want to be a part to find out what others are doing, you could sign up with us still yet. We still have spaces, so you could just WhatsApp us 614-3138 or email bcci@belize.org and sign up to be a part of the session.
How can they pay for the fee?
Usually, once you sign up, because once you contact us, we give you a link to complete a form, and we send you an invoice electronically with the online
Information.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for stopping by this morning.
Thank you.
I hope that the training goes well. I hope that there is a lot of inspiration coming out from it, and we hope to see you soon again, Mr. Grant.
Thank you very much. I would like to.
All right, before we move into our break for this morning, we leave you with a motivational quote. And the quote goes like this: "To know how much there is to know is the beginning of learning to live." Let me repeat that one. To know how much there is to know is the beginning of learning to live. And that quote is by Dorothy West. It's very inspiring for this morning. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to be giving Belizeans more ways to love with DigiBelize.